Good morning. I am higher vibrations, and so are you. And Happy New Year. I know some of you who are joining us from the Southern Hemisphere, it's the day after New Year's Day. Though those of us over here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the 1/1 portal, it's the New Year, it's the Day of Lights. It's the day in the counting of the Yule calendar, the 12th day of Yule, and the Day of Lights. Um, there's been a lot of crazy energy that we've been getting. I know a lot of you've been following the solar flares and the crazy activity we're having with it. And there's been so many solar flares that we're actually expecting to have outages throughout the day. And this is the last thing I'm going to say before I introduce Elsa, is that we also are having the Northern Light experience through a lot of the northern states of the US, as well as Canada and Alaska, of course. There's so many of them. I can list it later if you guys would like. However, the easiest thing to do is to go and to look. And it's advertised pretty much on anything. You can look it up on any internet search right now because it's such a big deal. Tonight, as well as last night, many of you are going to be able to see the Northern Lights. So, as a result of all of these solar flares, so if you're having technical difficulties and things like that, know that you're not alone, and that's the cause. Or at least they're saying that's why. So you can kind of understand what's going on. Anyway, having said all of that and all the Ascension Symptoms we're having because of all that stuff, let's move on to our lovely guest, the lovely Elsa Dillon. I always get really excited when I get to talk to her. We haven't really chatted on our own for a little while, so we haven't really caught up for a bit. So I'm really excited to see what kind of things we discussed today. How are you today?
Thank you, Mila, for having me again. It's so nice. It is. It's refreshing to meet with you. It is. I feel like we can unfold things together really quickly, and I don't know. It just seems to manifest with others as well, and that they're going, oh, that's exactly how I felt. So the snowball effect after we meet is exciting. It's exciting coming on because the snowball's going to come as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just us meeting; it's the after effect too. So
Oh yeah.
it's always so positive. I mean, it might not always feel the greatest, but it's positive. It always has a positive outcome. So
Yeah. I totally agree. And I love that in this format it's recorded because then I can go back. Because
yeah,
we cover so much when we do these conversations and we're just on the phone. I've gotten so used to it being recorded that I want to go back to. I'm like, oh, it's not recorded.
yeah, yeah. It's well, a lot of it. It just needs to be sort of opened up. It was like Odin. So we open up Odin, who I knew nothing about, and then Odin has explained so much, right?
Yeah.
Like so much. And then it helps you to understand how you're feeling, the energy, masculine or feminine, and then the next phase, and then you start to realize, is it lunar? Is it every year? Is it? And you start putting the puzzle together, and it just seems to make more sense to me now, Mila, than my life before.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
crazy. And then how much this conversation with Odin has picked up in, like, I don't consider I'm just me, man. And then you go and you later on now, it seems like these channels that have like the world follows, you know what I mean, are talking about the same things that we start talking about. It's like, whoa.
yeah. So this is the butterfly effect. Whether they are tapping into the energy or they've heard it, or you can see it's just this is manifestation, this is expansion, and it doesn't come from being told to you. It comes from a tell. It's very different.
Yeah.
It feels different being told something. As soon as I hear told, I go, oh. It gives me a shiver. But if someone's telling me something, I go, "Oh, this could be good." Get
Yeah.
your marshmallows out.
Your marshmallows.
Yeah, sit by the fire. Come on, tell me the story. Because you know that when someone tells a story, then the other person goes, "Oh, that happened to my cousin," or "This happened to," and they had something similar. But when you're being told something, you're not usually allowed to interact.
Yeah. It's a lecture.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
lecture, which sounds like leeches, lectures, leeches. Yeah. This dog prophecy though is it is the whale. It is set. It is Seta. It's the whales and the dogs. I had today down for years down as plural. You said plural a long time ago, but today I had down as plural day, which because we're in the second, and it's miss us. Misses. It's miss us. It's miss is day. This is what I had down for today. This is just purely from information we have. Miss Us Day is Mrs. Day, and then you said as we got on that we're having some big solar flares because they miss us. They miss us. They miss us. Are you?
Yeah.
Where Miss us. I know it comes back to the feminine again. It's not masculine, feminine. It's just him and her are the same.
Yeah.
So, but it's Miss Us Day. And it connects with the numbers of today as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so you're on 1-1 and we're on Mrs. And I was like, oh, that's so cute.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's so you said that right as we got 33 people in the audience. It's gotten to be more since then. I thought that was interesting that the threes came in. And it's 111 on 1-1. And it's 44 degrees. Holy crap. Synchronicity.
So this is part of it. It's good that you're bringing it up. So we're 6:11 now, so 6 a.m. 11. So to balance ones.
Yeah.
So we're balancing ones, and you're 111. So see the synchronicity, and then 333, and people go, oh, that's just coincidence, and I go, I know, but that's what it is. That's it. That's the sparkle, and we've taken the sparkle off everything. So it has to be either like Hollywood and bigger than Ben-Hur to be sparkle, but the sparkle's right there, always in front of you in this, in this, and this. And once people realize the sparkle is there in this and this and this, then they start to shine.
Yeah.
Rather than waiting for the big thing.
Yeah. And too many people are waiting for this some big thing right now.
Yeah.
And
they're going to the wait corner.
And it's putting the snooze on some stuff. We don't realize we're doing it, but we're energetically to the universe. We're saying, not right now. 5 more minutes. Like that's what we're doing when we are intentionally waiting. It's good to be patient, to have patience, to not be too anxious about any coming event or thing. Though when we are intentionally actively waiting, what we're doing is we're saying, no, not right now. And it's kind of sad because we miss some awesome stuff when we do that.
Oh. Wow. So the other day, Richard, where was I? I think, I was in a chat with you in your group. And this was a beautiful group session, by the way.
That was fun.
And we were talking about a whale location, the biggest sperm whale location. And I said we just went there yesterday, and it was a 3 or 4 year cycle. Remember I was saying this to you? And as I was saying to you, Synchronicity, Richard walks in and says, the curse is broken. And I
Yeah.
went, what? And so I was on mute and I went, what? Hang on. And so he then left. And after the session with the group with Miller, I asked him what he meant. And he said, remember that gift that our friends offered us 10 years ago? And it was a cooker, and we didn't have enough room for more stuff. We'd only shifted to the house, and I didn't accept it. Well, he offered a gift to someone while he was out, and it was the same person's name, and they didn't accept it. It was a beautiful, he was offering them fish.
Okay.
It was beautiful, fresh caught fish, and he didn't take it. And Richard comes home and goes, the curse is broken. I was like, they're not really words that he uses or says.
Yeah.
And something happened that day. I don't know. I just felt like something's lifted.
Yeah.
And, just prior to that, we had quite a few deaths.
Yeah.
In not family members, but lots of family pets. And it's still sad. It's hard, but you know that they're still there with you. But it felt like they kept saying that it needed to be this way so that you would recognize this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it gives even death a purpose. It gives everything greatness, not sadness. It takes all the sadness. Respins just tears.
Yeah. Well, it all has purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when people or pets or loved ones or plants cross over, so much focus is placed on the missing you. You. But the comets miss us all the time.
Yeah. Or do they?
They miss us. Well, or do they? You know what? They are us. They are plural.
Yeah.
They miss us, but they are us because they sacrifice or rain or shed on us as they come past. And they're like tells. They come past and they go, well, are they going to give me something? They don't do that. They go, I'm going to share. When I go past, I've passed Mars, I've passed Jupiter, past Black Moon Lilith, I've passed, all these. I'm gonna share with them, and by them sharing with us, they become us, or in us.
They rain down upon us as they go too.
Yeah, and then so them raining in on us, then they become part of us. All the plants, everything, they become part of us, even your dishwasher. And they do, they become part of us. And so now they become like a channel.
Mm-hmm. Right. And this lends to helping our DNA upgrades that we're doing. Coming out of dormancy is really what we're doing. It's not. When people say upgrade, I like it because it makes it's a quick way of helping the person understand, though it also removes something. It means that we've been lacking something, and it's part of it's in our human mechanism now. It's just sleeping. And it's like it's reinvigorating it. It's bringing it out of dormancy, and as these comets and these other things rain upon us and assist us, we're also and I didn't want to click the comment till, do you mind if I move a little bit over here to the fog? Here's the comment. A lot of people are experiencing fog. They say it's not like usual. It's very sparkly, like flakes falling to the ground. Speaking of raining down on us, this is a phenomenon that we do you mind that we talk about this a little bit?
No, I think we should talk about it. Yeah.
Cool. This has been something that So I'm just gonna do a quick introduction of my experience. I've been noticing it, like for a little while now, and it's timed perfectly to prevent the viewing of any kind of thing. Like I was super excited about the new moon, which was a black moon, by the way. We're still in that black moon energy. That's actually why I'm wearing my lavender like moon earrings today. But is that that night when I was talking about it to a few people online, I think it was on Sunday. Uh, then all of a sudden, as soon as I said something, this warning came up on my weather app saying, "Hazardous dense fog, caution!" Here it gets like out of nowhere, unexpected, and it wasn't in the forecast or seen anywhere. This is just one of many examples. Anyway, the point about this though is that this fog isn't fog. It's not really fog. And it's crazy because it's sweeping the nation. It's all over the world. So then I'm like, Elsa, blah, 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 guess what? And she was like, yeah, it's been happening for a while in Australia. So there's my introduction. What's your take on this?
Can you hear me okay? Because on my thing, I can't. I got the music playing, and I'm just
I keep
wondering
the
if I've
music
done
on.
something.
Let me
No,
turn the music.
it's okay. I like it. I'm just wondering if I've done something wrong on my music. That's all. Sound,
I can,
on my sound thing.
I can even turn it down a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was my thing that I did wrong. Thank you. Sorry. The fog. Okay, so the fog has been. They do this thing where they push the clouds down. This fog though was different because it would creep in. And I remember reading in history, especially in the UK, that they did it before a big smallpox came through or things like this. So they did this back in one of the world wars as well. Through the Thames, they talked about the fog coming. So it has been done before. So it's not known about. They can create it from planes or ships out at sea, and we say the ships, they have big towers off them. They look like cargo ships, but they're parked in unusual spots.
Right.
When we see them, we kind of know. When this fog came through before Christmas, was just before the 21st. It's a little bit of a sad story, but it has to do with the comets. Our dog got, our female dog, Ditto, she had puppies again on the 21st of November. And 2 weeks in, she got an infection and it came through with the fog. So the fog creates this mucus, these infections and stuff. But this got through in her little puppy scratches. And she got quite like mastitis and couldn't feed the pups. So she had 13 pups, and then it just kept getting less because I'm feeding, 2-week-old pups. And we got them, we had 10. We were left with 10, and I got them through the fog phase. Also, 2 or 3 of our kids got really sick, like shut down in bed. And they just don't get like that. I think Richard had it, and I was brain fog. Yeah, brain fog. Oh my gosh. Yeah, where you get a little bit of energy and then you don't have any more energy, and then you forget what you're doing and you can't stay focused, and sore spine, all the symptoms Mila talks about in her group. Anyway, so I'm starting to get deliriously tired because I'm doing 10 hours feeding these puppies. And then the second fog came through. I got them through this first fog and I was like, yes, I got everyone through. But the second fog came through within a day or two and it was too much. And that 21st of December, which was a solstice, I awoke and I went, oh no, they're not going to make it. It's too much for their systems. They're not going to make it. I can't believe this. I can feel their last breaths. And they do this shutting down breath, and I know it so well now. But it wasn't just the puppies, it was a kitten and Justin, the duck. And they literally wait until I turn up, Mila, and then they wait and they look into my eyes.
Yeah.
And, it's so much deeper than how we make it. They want me to know. It's like they're looking in my eyes so I can look into your eyes and share. And they looking at me and they're saying, you won't miss us. You won't miss us because we're with you. And the last puppy that the last 3 left on my heart here. But one last puppy, it was a brown one. And I buried it and I put all little wandering dew flowers, which are blue, around her. And the sunlight came through that morning and filled up her eye, and she had rigor mortis. Because I won't bury them until they're completely stiff, just in case they have an opportunity sometimes to come back.
Right.
So I wait for them to be, and it's very graphic. I wait for them to be fully stiff, I know they're not there, to come back. Anyway, I planted her and put all these flowers around her, and then the sunlight fills her eyes, and she was blue. Her eyes just lit up blue. I swear, I thought she came back. I had start putting flowers on her and a bit of dirt, and I actually took her back out because her eye filled with this sunlight blue. Because the puppies were inside, I didn't realize how blue this puppy's eyes were.
Yeah.
And the surge so the sun, you see in Indiana Jones or something, and the sunlight comes through and hits a pyramid and then goes bang and then hits something else. This is what happened. Yeah, so the sunlight comes into the puppy on the ground, and then the blue eye hits me. And I just realized that it's there. These little 14 visitors were just here for a lunar cycle, and they came here to share this story because it's so great. This is connected to the dog with the twin sucklings. The curse is broken. Mila, the curse is broken. I was feeding the puppies.
Yeah.
The she-wolf is the one that was feeding the 2 borns, the twins. And now I was feeding the puppies. Are you seeing this? It's a respin.
Yeah.
It's a respin. This is when they started language, and this is the Roman Empire and the Roman Republic. There was 2, but this was when one of the great comets came. The Etras. I can't say it properly. It's a really long word. The Etras, and they're the ones that created in Bologna, and they started in. This is possibly when much changed. Meaning, it could have been when the viruses and the parasites arrived.
That makes a lot of sense to me too, because the word bologna goes with when you said that, I thought of bologna, hogwash, not true, fake.
Yeah. Well, pig is dog. Dog is pig. Pig and dog are actually the same. And pig is sea pig, which is dolphin, which is porpoise, which is piglet. Piglet is it's basically saying dolphin ET.
Wow.
I know, right? Okay, yeah. So then this connects to Set, which is the dog being. Anubis has a wife, and I didn't realize this until Dr. Joe sends me a message going, "Have you seen your chest?" And I've gone, "What?" He goes, "Have you seen your chest?" And I was like, "Is he being dirty. And
Evidently.
he goes, no, check out this picture of your chest, and it's on my Facebook or website. And I look at the picture, and it looks like an alien on my bones. Look like an alien. Like I look at it again, and the kids go, "Mom, that's a Doberman." I go,
Wow.
"What?" And I didn't realize, but Anubis has Ornette, Arnaut, Arnette. Arnaut is the female version. It's the counterpart of Anubis, and I didn't realize ever that Anubis had a female as well.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah. So this she-wolf, this is the story. You would have heard this story, versions of this story. There was the two natural borns, the twins. Anyway, they were told to be thrown into the river. I mean, you've heard this story many times in different versions, right?
A lot of different
Anyway,
versions.
yeah, but they decided not to throw them in the river because they felt sorry for them. So they just left them on the banks, and then this she-wolf came along and fed them. Sounds like Jungle Book to me as well.
Yeah.
Sounds like the story of the Nile. Sounds like Moses. Sounds like a few stories, right? So she gives the sucklings. The she-wolf, the dog, brings up the two childs until a shepherd comes along with his wife, and then they take them into the family. And this is how Rome began. And one was called Remus, and then one of them kills the other one. Does this sound like another story?
Over and over again.
So it's the one kills one, and then realize, hang on, we're twins. I'm that one, or the son kills the father. So you have the rise, then you have midday, and then he goes, hang on a second, I'm the father.
Right.
It's
And then the
it's not,
set.
yeah. So it's not, yeah. It's the dog again. Seta is Set. It's just been messed up.
That story's everywhere, even in like modern movies. First thing I thought of was Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. Like that's a
Ah,
kid
yeah.
movie that my daughter got into for a little while there. She's one of those those children that she'll like then obsessively talk about the same, like kind of it's a good thing that she kind of unpacks it like you and I
Yeah.
kind of do and it's kind of fun. But
Mm.
we talked about it a lot, and she was the point that she wanted to make about it, and let's bring this up because this is what you're talking about too, is one of that things in this story was that the brother missed the opportunity to let his older brother perish. And
Miss. Ah.
mhm,
Wow, I got goosebumps hearing about this story. But it's the same thing. It's recognizing yourself, or seeing yourself in others, or seeing yourself in your father. And again, then this becomes masculine because they all say him, masculine. But it's generally, I find when I go way back, it always ends up starting with her.
yeah.
Something of her calls the hymns in. It's so funny because that's how it is at a nightclub and stuff, right? Or you see the pretty girl on the beach, and then you see the boys behind. Well, you used to before before all the apps.
I know.
but
Everyone's on their
but
phone.
yeah, but that's kind of how it used to be. So it's like the hers calling the hymns.
Yeah.
Mm. It's look, and then I get all this information, and I get all this dovetailing, and I'm sure this happens to you, and you go, "What am I doing? I'm like you. I'm just me. I mean, I got my chores to do. Why am I doing? So I'm going to go on and talk about ETs, and what am I doing? This is not my profession. What am I doing? Why am I doing this?" And I just get this feeling from Mila's mum, the puppy, our past horses, all those ones that are past going, you got to do this.
Yeah.
This is your will calling you.
You can't
Just,
not.
just keep doing it. Like, even Richard goes, why are you doing this? So don't people call you funny names? And I went, well, they call me funny names at home too. So
At least
yeah,
online,
but
I'm a water bottle.
well, the best thing about online is they've got I call it I love this. I love I call it the button where what do you call it when you shoot someone out the car? The
Eject.
I call it the delete button, but it's ejector seat. And it just goes like, there you go, off you go. Now
Yeah, it's so
you
much
can yell
more
at me as much as you
convenient.
want, but it's delete it.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing. Like, I mean, you know, most of the people that interact with us are pretty kind and
Yeah.
loving. Like, there's like the occasional person that it's like, I'll only delete someone's comment because it's going to the energy. I've noticed it'll affect other people in the comments, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, come on, be nice.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do? Say bad words to me? Ouch.
Well, it's the word miss
Mhm.
understood. So they're not even in the understanding. They're not standing in a level ground, so you can understand why they're saying it. But I agree, it's more the ring of it, the frequency of it. It affects others, and that saying where one apple will spoil the fruit of the like we would notice this in a crew if we had on a shoot if we had 15 people and there's one person just telling negative stuff all the time, we'd actually ask them to leave or give them a job that would take all day so they couldn't be with us.
Yeah.
I've got this really important thing I need you to do.
You have to stand right here and don't
Yeah,
move. We're
yeah.
going
Or
over there.
you got to drive all the way to the other side of the city in rush hour traffic. It's really important. But it would spoil so then that would reflect in the photos. And we were so passionate about the outcome of the photos that we didn't care what anyone said. It was because we were creating something. We were creating our art, and it was like creating pottery. You don't want someone, or creating a meal. You don't want someone putting their grumpy juju into your food, sort of thing. You want a good vibe because you want to then share the good vibe out. If you're sharing out the grumpy, and this is why we say it's really important to know where your food comes from, because
Yeah.
if your food is very depressed, you're eating that.
Yeah. We should
I'm
probably.
not just talking animal, I'm talking plants as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so sorry, I've been talking away. So the fog came through, it got sick. Then we had 5 or 6 days blue sky, and then the fog came through a bit more again today, but not as thick the last 2 days.
Mhm.
And this fog, I feel like the fog possibly will have the dust in it from the comets and things, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's got a lot more manipulated stuff in it as well. That's what's
Yeah.
making us.
Yeah. Like, I mean, and everybody hears me talk about this. I don't like being in the box indoors. Like, that's just me. When I get done here, then I just go outside. Sometimes I'm just outside. I'm not really actually doing anything, and other times I'm kind of sort of half meditating and just, it depends on the moment. However, it's something that I live in a really small place, though we're kind of in a neighborhood, and people on all corners of, like, you can hear them coughing through their house, and they're like down the road. They're like 7, 8, 9, 10 houses away from us. And they're the little ones, the children, like the ones that are like, maybe 10, 15, somewhere in there. And the coughing, it's such a deep cough. And that only just started after the fog came, and it's like, it seems very, I mean, I at first was kind of like, well, maybe because we're taught there's the cold and flu season. That's another one of those like spell casting to convince us to believe this thing is going to occur and then we'll manifest it kind of thing. But this is different. Something happened, and something is happening. And, these are individuals, younger people, so they're not usually outside at night when the fog is looming at night. So I'm not even saying run indoors if it's foggy. It's just that there's something there.
Yeah. Well, it's you have to be prepared for it. I did everything with the thing that got the puppies through the first time was literally onion, because they stopped wanting to eat, and so it's so hard with them being this young. Look, the mucus. It's like mucus, then it's the parasite cleanse. It's like one thing after another, and it just becomes too much for the week. And that's why it's so important to keep checking in on yourself and resting, and not trying to squish your life into the 9 to 5, because you can see it's failing.
Yeah.
And the fog, it might not feel like our friend, but the fog is forcing us to fail the 9 to 5. See how it's re-spinning itself?
Yeah.
Like the desperation or whatever they're doing to have control over us is forcing forcing disclosure, forcing understanding, forcing awakening, because you're making people take time out.
Yeah.
So then I go, well, are they the good guy or the bad guy? Look, honestly, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
It just is what it is. And Mila, ready? So we have September, October, November, December the 4th.
Right.
I sent you, we were talking funny because I kept saying Happy Julianuary from Madagascar. I love that little dude. He's so funny. So our kids are all walking around going Happy January. So you have January and February. They're the two. They're the twins.
Right.
Airy is Aries, which is the added months, because it was 10 months in the Roman calendar. So they added January and February. Airy is canary. Airy is canine. It's not. It's dog.
What?
Yeah, I know. So Janu is what is Janu? Oh, hang on, give me 2 seconds. So Janu, I know I'm going to say all this, and you're just going to go boom, 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 boom. So January is Janus, and it means what does it mean? It means they're coming. They're coming. They miss us, and they're coming.
Huh.
And then the February means mud, tar, Mars. So it comes, and then the tar. It's in the months.
What?
And then the next month is March, which is Aries.
Right. That's my month.
So Airy means connected to March. Airy means connected to Aries, which is it's actually literally Canary Islands. It's the biggest island in the Canary Islands, and they called this the Islands of Fortune.
Of course I do.
I was like, yeah, really? Okay. So it's this is this is why March and then May become such huge mother energy. This is
Right.
from Odin brought this in, but now I understand it more. See, it's written in the word. The puppies brought this in for me because I saw this picture. A few people kept showing me this picture of the dog with these two twins. I was going, why is it so familiar? Why is it so familiar? This is how you got the name January and February, from these two, the
Wow.
twins.
So how does the...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So what happens if everything that we're saying is correct, Mila? Like what you're saying about Odin and Taurus and Horus and Little Hawk and what? So if this is all, if we're tapping in and our tapping in is true and it's correct, and then we're sharing the correct version now, what happens?
We undo the lies. And then the truth is told.
So we undo the lines.
Yeah.
So then it becomes clean lines, right?
Right.
This is alignment.
Oh.
We undo the lines. Yeah. I love that.
That's what I feel like we are. We're the truth tellers. Like whether or not it's a globally or not, what's expected to be accepted as truth of a history or something that it's right in front of us. We can see it. I feel like what we talk about is true. Like, and so when you first asked, when you pose the question, what if it's true? It's like, well, it is.
Why is she saying that?
I mean,
but you
what
feel
is
like
all
you
the
can
way?
touch it, right? Like when I hear you say things or others say words and I hear that a ring of true, you feel like you can. I know it's only words and I know it's only energy, but it feels like I can touch it. I feel like they've made it real, so I can touch it now. And
Yeah.
yeah,
You can
I
show
look.
it.
I feel like that just makes so much sense in everything that was forced fed to us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, this has all been a grand experiment. Like everybody knows about this thing. People talk about it and they call it the reset. They know something happened. There's something in our very DNA, in our molecular structure. There's somehow part of us that's always known that it doesn't fit. Not it. There's aspects of what we're taught, what we're shown, what we're told to believe doesn't belong. And then there's cues, clues throughout everything that we're fed, along with if you've been presented to the public school system or something similar to it, the mass brainwashing that occurs. I remember walking into a classroom setting for the first time and they were chanting back lies. Like they were supposed to say in unison a lie, an untruth. And then in order to pass that class, you had to replicate, regurgitate, recreate that lie on paper in written form, casting the spell against yourself when you spell it. And it's over and over again. We've seen it and we know on some level that it's baloney. We know that it's not true. And finally, now we're starting to see how these things are not just us. Bless you, that there are parts of it that we also that others are seeing and always just in order to pass the class and believing that getting the A+ was more important than telling what you knew was true. They kind of forgot that that was not true, even though everyone accepted it as true. So now we're undoing history. That's what the Arcturians, when I got that channeled message, that was fun because I'd never had the Arcturians come in until that moment. And they told me, we are correcting your history or undoing your history. I can't remember the word now. I wrote it down. It was really fascinating. They said that they're fixing our history, as if it never happened. That was the way that it was worded. Please stand by. And that was the end of the message. And like, that was just real brief and real, like, because history that we're being told is not true. And so we're like wandering in the dark with a really bad flashlight is what we're basically doing. And some of our flashlights are getting better and better.
No, it's the passing of the baton, the passing of the torch.
Right.
This is what they used to do. Another Roman tradition, running in a circuit or a stadium. So distract them with the stadiums. The stadiums are concerts, the stadiums are football matches, the stadiums are circuits, and there's circuits all around the world. You'll see in maps, the circuits are everywhere. And this is our heritage, the Romans. The Romans are us. And you'll go, oh, but I'm from Ireland, or I'm from London, or, and you go, yeah, that's funny. No, the Romans are you. And I actually have physical proof of this because Richard's Irish-German origin. Now, when I met Richard, he had really crepe paper skin, and he would burn in the sun, and I changed his diet more to Mediterranean, which is what I grew up on. His skin changed to olive skin.
Wow.
And people go, well, that's impossible. And I go, well, look, yeah, okay, maybe it's impossible, but it's happened. So his olive, now he doesn't go red, he goes brown. And his skin isn't crepey anymore. It looks like he looks Greek, but he's not Greek. And it's actually in your DNA, because that's where they came from. They just changed their diet to the potatoes and all that, which changes your appearance. The food changes your appearance.
Like the flamingo.
Yeah, I like the flamingo.
That's my favorite example. The flamingo's white.
Really?
Yeah, it's white. And what causes the pink pigmentation, the hue of pink on it, is shrimp. Its diet of solely shrimp or mostly shrimp.
I did. Oh, that's so cute. Goes, I want to be pink. I'm going to eat pink things, of course.
She's going to be all eating shrimp all the time now.
Look, I don't think it works if you eat blue lollies, by the way.
No.
But this is the same with the to be blue, you have to will it.
Yeah.
It's actually they like the color of the sky, so they would copy it. It's a magic. It's actually a light refraction trick.
Yeah.
To reset is to be long. I understand the word long now from one of Mila's things I watch, and I see the codes or the times of it, and it's like even the numbers around Mila talk to me. The word long is to be sorry, long. It's actually a measurement of space, long. It's actually the real meaning probably of time, to long something. To be sorry is also the name they give to like a group of girls in a university, I think. Sorry, same thing.
Oh, sorority, yeah.
Yeah, same thing. And sorry is soul re. So to reset is soul, God, or dog. This is why man is best friends. When I say dog and God are the same thing, it is the same thing.
Yeah.
This is to be. I love this one. B is 1, 3, 3, or E. It's the E's. It's the muse. It's this B, which is an M, and another M on top. It's crustacean of us. Landing on the plane. That's Gaia, or wherever we are.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
wherever we
So the
are.
so the M's are coming. So when Mila says flip the ship or the St's are the star, you flip the ship, and now you understand that what has been here before the other M's, the layers. It's like doing a ice core or something, and so you go back through the ice and you can see all the tree and you can see all the M's or W's under here. You flip the ship like Pirates of the Caribbean and you see M.
Yeah. And that's the symbol of Aquarius, or at least the old symbol. They don't use that symbol anymore. Now they added another loop to it. But that's
Oh,
the age of Aquarius. I actually found that because Mother Mary, during meditation, or I was in a meditative type state, and she came and she drew on my head two M's well, she used two fingers and went like that. And I was like, what? And I was like, maybe that means Mother Mary, and um, then I was looking at symbolism after you and I had a conversation. I don't remember what we were talking about. Um, and it came to these old symbols, and it showed me the way they used to write Aquarius, and it was exactly that way.
uh, so that symbol really, because Richard's Aquarius. That's funny. We always laugh about him being Aquarius. Anyway, so the M symbol on the horizon, her eyes on.
Yeah,
So now it starts getting funny, right? The M, if the double M is the Milky Way, it's the nursery, it's the two streams. It's where our most of the comets and asteroids come from. They call it the nursery nebula. It's that symbol. It's the two streams. Two
yeah.
streams is the Nile, the River Nile.
The two
So
streams coming together.
where she cries into one,
Yes.
because they have to have the water for otherwise you get a dry throat. So the water comes through and then carries all the star seedness around you.
Yeah.
And what does not serve you leaves, and what is new embeds. Embodiment. See, they knew all this, and the way to hide it all, and the hiding. See, Neil and I don't come across this information from Google. We come across it from a hawk or a
Right.
grasshopper or a crystal she picks up, or little Maddie will come in and Maddie will just say a whole bunch of stuff and then run off again. And it's like, what? Yeah,
Yeah.
this is where we're getting the information from. And then it marries up with, it is Mother Mary. Mother Mary is the Mata and the water. It's the same word. It's just one's
Yeah.
grounded and one isn't. Daughter, I think, Mata and daughter, I'm not sure which way it works, if it's the chicken or the egg or how it works, but Mata and water isn't written T-E-R, it's ta. It's ma-ta. And then water is water.
That's
Yeah. See,
and
because
this.
so it's mother, and that's a compass, right? So mother, so daughter, and then there's two sons.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's that balance again. This is a thing that I know most of the people in the audience understand this, is that, male or female in physical form, we have divine feminine and divine masculine, no matter what your gender is, or how you identify or whatever. And what's been missing, well, for so long, what's happened is that what was left, because the divine feminine was removed, severed, like surgically removed in the most clear way possible. And then what was left behind was a beaten, broken divine masculine. Again, I'm not insulting anyone individually. This is all of us have operated in this faulty, uh, trauma response version of the divine masculine. And now, for some time, really, though, something just happened. Around the same time that Richard came in and said the curse is broken, the divine feminine was saying, hello, I'm here all the way. And she
Yeah.
called herself the pink frequency.
Well, that was so. That story was so. I think it was back in 2021 on this beach. We went and did some grounding, clearing, and then a week later we went back to this beach and did our last photo shoot. Anyway, the lady who had the horses, she found the biggest sperm whale in Australia on the beach with her daughter. So it was mother and daughter, right?
Yeah.
This sperm whale, I know I'm repeating because this was from our group session with Mila. Her Telegram group sessions are so much fun, by the way. Anyway, so we're in this group with these lovely people, Mila, and I was saying to Richard, we're back here again. This is 3 or 4 years ago. We're back here at this beach, and we were brought there by our dog, the mother dog of the puppies. She's quite depressed, and she's sore. She's still got all the puppy wounds on her, so we're taking her to the beach to heal her. And this beach is a great beach because it's there's not too many people, and she doesn't have to walk too far because she's so sore. Anyway, I said this was where the whale was, the story of the whale, right where we're standing. And I said, I feel like it's something. And then the next day, Richard and I met with Mila, and I shared this story. And then Richard comes in and says, the curse is broken. This story of the whale, the sperm whale, military came in. They didn't rescue the whale. No conservationists were there for over 24 hours or longer. And the military blocked off all the roads and came in and cut up the whale and took the jewels out of the jaw. And you can see in a lady that we know, her drone footage, you can see that it's chainsawed. It would have been an operation, let me tell you, because there's sharks and it's full beach. So they would have had excavators. Like it would have been a full-on operation.
Right.
It was very disturbing to this mother and daughter. That's why they shared the story, because they didn't know who to share this with. That Indigenous were locked out of it until it was too messed up. Anyway, this sperm whale was at the location where we did the shoot, and it was also at the location a week before where he put the thing, and this whale's energy showed me about the grey matter in our brain. It's not junk. We reuse it, everything we use. And I'm wondering possibly if she has, like you said, the pink energy, maybe she was a female, this whale. When we found this whale, we were out on the boat, and we would go out on the boat, and there would be huge brown, like kilometre round circles in the water, like just it was like bomb explosions under the water. Yeah, I'm not going to get into all that, but something about underground tunnels. So
that's a long. Yeah, we could probably talk about that for hours.
Yeah, but it wasn't one either, and you could see it was round. It was like a brown sphere in blue water. You can't not see it out there.
Yeah.
And then you'd see another one and another one. You go, what is going on? Then the whales started coming in really close to shore because probably their sonars are off. I remember that day that they found the sperm whale, Jet was on his dinghy and had one come up next to his dinghy. But even the flipper is way bigger than the dinghy. Like it's huge. This whale energy, Gigi said to me, Mum, I've just seen the movie Avatar 2. I went,
I was
"Oh,
just
yeah,
thinking
how
about
is it?"
that.
Yeah, well, I said, what was it like? She goes, "I cried in it because it's the story of the sperm whale that we saw." She
Mhm.
said, "So has Hollywood remote viewed us or something?" And I said, "I don't know. I don't know how it works."
Yeah.
She said, "How can it be so exact, the story be so exact in Avatar too?" And I said, I honestly, I don't know if we're all connecting to it or how it works. She said, she said, I was watching it and she said it was so bizarre. For Gigi, after all the encounters she's had, for her to say bizarre was like, wow.
Right.
That's why. So we went back there, and then I have this session with Mila to help me understand it. And now you said something changed.
Yeah. The curse was lifted when he said that. That shifted everything. Okay.
So we
In
accepted
my
our gifts. Is that what
Yeah,
it is? We're taking our gifts.
we're choosing to allow ourselves to. It's all been based around this conditioned response of low self-worth, on saying that we're not worthy of something, we're not going to be good enough for it. When I just said that, I looked up and we'd been on for 1 hour, 1 minute and 11 seconds on one day, an Odin day. And just is and so we've consistently basically said no thank you to the universe when we've just not taken these gifts. We've not taken them up because of this belief in this low self-worth that we've been taught to have. And now people are breaking away from it. Spirit told me that last March. It was the beginning of the year. It's actually closer to right now. I think it was the 11 day, January 11. But through to April was when the acceleration of healing was occurring. We're still having it now, but to that magnitude, that was amazing. As a result of that healing, that rapid healing that was done on a global scale, enough people are removing their beliefs, their investment to the low self-worth propagandized belief system, that people are now being able to accept their gifts and to listen to themselves and to believe themselves. Belief is the biggest part of this whole story. I want to bring up whale too. Don't let me forget. You go ahead. I know you have more to say. You're off. Your audio's off.
So we had today down as Miss Us Day, and then on the 8th of January, which is complete sister, or complete satisfy, or complete Miss Is. So it goes from Miss Us to Miss Is. And I'm going to say, with how the fog's been and how the solar flares I'm seeing, it's from now to then, it's just upgrade or whatever you want to call it. It will, and it will be is in us. Do you get what I'm sort of saying? It's yeah.
Well, and then the word, every time you say is, I always think ISIS. And there was
It
a
is, yeah.
smear campaign against ISIS. We know that. Remember, that was like around 2012. I don't remember what
Yeah.
year that was anymore. It was too long ago.
Well, they give all these things dirty names, so you don't want to. I mean, even demon's not a dirty word. They've just made it into a dirty word because of that one thing. And they put all these visuals into you for demon, and you go, that's what a demon is. And demon is two men.
Yeah, your soul.
So, yeah. So but you got to then realize where the context came from that you're believing the system. So if you're listening to Mila and I, you know that we just like to smile, and we love our kids. We love sharing with people, and we're giving, and we're generally kind and silly, and that's us, right? But if you're listening to a dictator going, what's the agenda of that? If you're listening to that, so then if you're a good one, you would be a witch or you would be a demon because you're going to wreck my story over here. Demons, they're demons. And it's like, really? Okay. I just
Not very long ago, we referred to our soul. When we talked about what we call soul, it was called demon. They changed where the A and the E is in the spelling. Like they put the A first instead or something. Or there's not an A, I guess now. They took the A away.
Yeah.
But before it was DAEMON, and that meant soul. Your soul, they called my demon.
Wow. Well, that's to be a demon is you have this little that we can have the devil and the angel, or you can have the father and the son.
Right.
You have to have both so that you have contrast so you can understand your will. So you can't have just one because otherwise you're like the boat with the dinghy and it just keeps going. You're only because the propeller is only going one. You need to have the balance so that you got to have the resistance to come in. Yeah, that's what. But you got to have the resistance in you. You can't have the resistance from someone. You can't be one and have a dictator resisting because this throws the whole spin off, literally. That's why schooling and politicians and all that is seriously failing. I don't even have to worry about it anymore because I know it's going to fail because it has to, the resistance has to be in you to be great, not from. It has to be, not form, it has to be from. It comes in, and then you have the butterfly, and it is the two men. A and E in Roman, and if you go back, is written as one letter.
That's right.
So it's like the egg with a line in it, horizon. It's Taurus, Horus, Taurus again.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's so cool, Wally Miller. It's so cool. It's too cool not to be cool.
And it's all there right in front of us to be seen. Like it's and I feel like that we did this for ourselves or someone or somehow. I mean, we're all one. And if you go back just a little bit, you'll notice that you merge into your higher self, and your higher self's really kind of like the one holding the controller in this video game that we're in, kind of thing. But, and this goes back again to Whale, the record keeper, the one that contains the information, the knowledge, the remembering. And you had mentioned the whale. It's known as the swimming library, but it's also believed by the ancients that it's from the dog star Sirius. You said dog when you first mentioned whale, and there's something about dog sitting. And then what's more, so I'm reading this from, I know I'm mirrored. I don't know how to turn the mirroring off on this thing, but this, if you can read backwards, this is from the medicine cards book. I don't do the cards as much as I do read inside because the animals come to me, but I just wanted to read this one part. Whales saw the events that led to the settling of Turtle Island, which is North America now, and has kept the records of knowledge of the motherland alive. It is said that Mu will rise again when the fire comes from the sky and lands in another ocean on Mother Earth. This Mu shall rise again. Mu is Lemuria. This part of the prophecy goes along with the Lakota prophecy. It goes along with the Hopi prophecy. You can go through all these different tribal spaces. I'm sure also not only North American or American, there's probably South American tribal regions that talk about this too, but all over the world. Is that, the rainbow tribe, the rainbow people coming together and to unite and to share in a common love of Mother Earth, of Gaia, honoring themselves, and typically the symbols of them picking up planting sticks and satchels of seed is the symbol of the time, and that leads to this moment. You said something else, and I forgot how. Yeah, it fits with the prophecy that I was just reintroduced to. I'd actually forgotten about it until about a couple months ago. Um, this is a prophecy that came, that's written, drawn. It's really cool. I posted in the Telegram group, I think like a month or two ago. Anyway, um, it talks about these things that we just discussed, where everybody unites and comes together. But it also goes through all these different things that have already occurred. It even has the symbol of the swastika. It says the swastika will rise twice. And as we know, big pharma is a lot of the people that were, what we thought were the war criminals of Nazi Germany were absorbed into the U.S. and became big pharma. We know that the eugenics people have been feeding us whatever they've decided. And then the end of that prophecy is somebody with a red hat will come from the east. They'll come from the east because the bird, that's what you were swimming. Remember, you were talking about the boat going like this? This is in this prophecy, Elsa. It says that, for too long does the bird fly only with the right wing. And this has got nothing to do with politics, not left, right wing, really politics. The male wing. And there is no female wing. And when there's no female wing, then the bird flies in a circle and cannot get to any destination. And so this part of the prophecy, when this man from the east with a red hat comes to the land of the Hopi people, this is like Utah, Arizona area. Um, when this occurs, which is now, all this, every sign leads to this now moment we're in, then the divine feminine or the left wing is now able to be used, and flight can then occur, and destination can be reached. This just happened. It's been written for
Okay.
years.
So Jet, okay, in this time frame with the 21st, Jet is in a silver ute. His new ute, it goes off a cliff.
Right.
And then I'm feeding the puppies, and then the next day, 24 hours, and then we hear a tree fall down. The tree calls us outside, and then we go out the front of our house, and it's another silver ute. It's the silver ute, Mila. The silver ute is Utah. I know
Yes.
silver because it has the silver lining there. It's the utes. So then I do this Zoom with you. We're sitting outside. All the so cute because all the girls were trying to get tans, and they got their tops down, and they're doing their nails and everything. And a red ute drives down our driveway, the same car, 3 times.
Wow.
Lost female. Our kids go right, so they go 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 go, and they all run inside. It's so cute, because
That's
it
cool.
because our house is very private, and then for someone to just sort of
Yeah, yeah.
intrude, yeah, on a country property, you're not ready for it. Even the dogs didn't bark; they didn't even realize this red ute, and Richard goes up and assists her, and he assists her on her way, and he looks back at me and he went, "That's the third." And he goes, "And it's ready." And I go, "It's the red. It's the red ute." It's so when these prophecies, Mia, they're not exactly because you're thinking, "Oh, I'm waiting for the man with the red cap." It's the ready ute and capping. It's also capping is helmet. Helmet
Right.
is anu. It's aunt. you if you look it up, it's helmet is ant. Ready
Wow.
ready ants. Ready anu. So it's something to do with the utes. In the news, they've just brought out, by the way, I love now the news is doing by the way because they can't keep up with the. They go, everyone's remote viewing and becoming psychic. Damn it! So then now the news is having to be like Mila. Oh, by the way, it- all cultures stem from Australia.
Yeah,
The DNA.
that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, I was like, really? Okay. That's last year's news. We did that way back. You guys, you
Right.
guys are gonna be. They're so puffed. They go, we just got the last bit. Now we get. What did they say now? What? They got to go
Right.
through all their notes. They're going through all their notes. How are we going to bring this one out without looking stupid? But anyway, so they're telling us that we all come from the same.
Yeah. Yeah. And they haven't even ventured to explain how Australia used to be connected to like kind of where once part of Florida, sort of. We were where you live and where I live were connected really closely. Like I could have driven to you within a short time.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've forgotten about Lemuria, which is the
Yeah.
east coast of and Hawaii and all those islands. And
Yep.
yeah, yeah. How are they going to go on about bringing up these fake lands, but they're real? So it's
Right.
so. What does this information do for me? Is it used to distract me from what all the chaos is going on? Possibly. Is it just, I don't know, it just seems to make my soul feel full. Like I feel satisfied and complete. I feel like it's so I feel like it's so true and so connected with the plants and the animals and dovetailing and synchronicity that it doesn't make me feel crazy anymore. It makes me feel happy for the crazy chaos because it's it's actually magical.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
uplifting. That's what it does. And people go, well, how is that uplifting? And it just is. It makes you realize you don't really need all that.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
unnecessary. It actually you just hear it and it just sounds so stupid now. So it it doesn't even matter if someone calls me stupid or silly or crazy because this feels so good that
yeah.
it just doesn't matter. It's
And when you can,
empowering.
yeah,
Sorry.
that's exactly what I was going to say. Please go on.
Yeah. And hearing that it's the whale, like what you said, even the name whale was given to them because of how they murdered them, right?
Yeah.
You go, wow, really? Okay, well, if I respin the word whale has M in it and hail.
Hmm. Man.
Hail is heavy rain. What's a
Right.
whale? It's heavy memory.
Right.
And I go, all right, I'll let you have whale. They've told us they class them as we understand. We call them set A beings. Um, even we've spoken a lot about spider. Spider isn't an insect. Spider's an octopus.
Yeah. Octopus is a whole nother rabbit hole too. Hey, it's 222. Rabbit hole too.
So they're the three. So you have bacteria, the spined ones, and then you have the octos, the peds or the ones that had the feet.
Yeah, because there are
So you
some
had
spiders that are actually crustaceans. They're actually crab family.
yeah. Well, the crab family it goes back to spine.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I checked on those because it comes back to horns and claws and things like this, or the Taurus. So crab is in the spine group. So there's the three. And as we understand them, they're called luka, 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 luka. When I hear this in my own voice, I go, oh, there it is. Luka is to see magic, to see our gifts. Luka is the three. It wasn't until the Romans that, with this ET thing, that I think that's when possibly the next version came through, which was the parasite and viruses, and I think they came through in some type of, they attach on bacteria, and that they came later, but the three were here first. That's why the whale remembers, because it's the carrier, right?
Yeah.
And their song can go round the world because they understand. Their song can go, and our song goes around the world when we understand.
Yeah.
How is it that Mila communicates? I don't know how she does it, but there's this hawk out here. And I know that whenever this hawk is going, rah, 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 and then it comes down and lands in front of me, and I go, oh, I obviously have an email or something from Mila, better go inside. Seems pretty urgent. But
and it always works out that it's exactly correct.
it's so cute, right? Like,
yeah.
and
And
it
that's been
happens
my
so
name,
many times.
Little Hawk, so
Yeah,
that's really
little hawk.
fun.
But it happens so many times. I go. So I'll be outside with the kids or something, and they go, oh, where are you going? I go, oh, Mila's just sent me a message. Yeah, and you can see our son go, there goes crazy lady.
That's fun. You opened up a bunch of different cans of worms, so I can pick one, I guess.
Cans of worms. Yeah.
Well, the main one here is the hidden maps. And what's interesting is I was going to mention the hidden maps of the southern Utah when you were talking about the people of Utah. There's also down. So I lived in Utah for quite some time in my life. In fact, I grew up in a culture where you had brought up the word God earlier. You weren't allowed to say the word God. And this is really a big deal not to say it. You would say dog backwards. And that would be how people said that word in Utah. Like it's like really offensive. It's like basically spitting in their face, how they take it when you say that word around that area. At least in the religious groups, which is the 90% of the state. If you go to the native areas, it's not like that. But if you go down southern Utah, this is where the land is green. The sand, the dirt is green, orange. That's interesting. It said green. The sand is orange, and there's a lot of covert things occurring in the depths of the deserted desert of Utah. They had leaked that they were disposing of biohazards in the southern Utah deserts. However, it was just, I know, because I saw some of these vehicles. I was in places where I wasn't supposed to be. They were bringing out some type of cargo and things like there's something else going on down there. If you look at this part of the country on like Google Earth, it's blurred out. It's gone. It doesn't exist. And then go further. Now you mentioned Lemuria, and it's like, now I can't not say something about the hidden maps, because if you notice, because I started following flight pattern stuff only because I wanted to see where food was coming from, which again circles back to something else I also mentioned earlier regarding, how many hands touches your food makes the food depressed. The food itself is the energy it is, but it imbues the energy of the person that touches it. Anyway, so I was watching these flight patterns, and it turns out You know, you're not allowed to fly over where Lemuria used to be. There's no one's allowed to fly around over it. They all go all the way around it. Even if going around it is adding twice as much flight time to your schedule. They fly around this place. Like, so you don't accidentally capture, this is just my assumption. You don't actually see something out your window as a passenger on this plane.
Oh, so
Like,
you go past, if it did, you'd see Dinotopia or something. You'd see it.
yeah.
If you ever talk to pilots or air stewards, I don't know. They always have, they know stuff. I know they know
Oh
stuff.
yeah, they do. They totally
Yeah.
do.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That's
Thank you,
huge,
Joshua.
Mila. Wow, that's huge. And Lemuria is a big place because it goes from Easter Island is on east of the island, and then you have all the other islands that are just off Australia. So the Tongas, and
Yeah.
that's the west side, and it sort of goes like that. I don't know how high up it went, but wow. So I mean, Utah is Ute.
Yeah. Yeah, the people, there's a tribal region called the Ute. It's like saying Cherokee or Navajo. It's not as commonly understood or heard, it's not. Um,
It's a hull. It's the symbol is hull. I always laugh because we lived on Hull Road. The hull, right? Oh my gosh, this is Nefernekem. You posted it. Okay. The hull, you two. So two go in the ship. That's our bodies coming here.
oh yeah,
You you two that's so cute. You two are coming here and you're gonna ground. So Nefernekem, a few days earlier I know that the smear campaigns on Nefernekem have been so much, and I was looking at how they've put big bellies on them, and it just doesn't look right. So I took the bellies off, and it actually looks better. And they've even admitted where they keep the bust of Neff how much plastic plaster surgery they've done on her, right?
yeah, right,
And they've hidden her, and this is where we discovered the 3D scan where she's got the bump on the nose, and the kids are like, "You got
right.
a bump on the nose." I'm like, "Oh, great, all right." So Neff and Akem, if you look under Akem, that picture you posted, Mila, it's a ship. We call Richard the overseer.
Right. You call him the overseer.
Yeah, they gave us names or gifts that everyone does. They called me clear conduit, and I was like, how come I get the building term? Because I wanted to have special names like all the others, but Richard's got overseer, which is what he does. He goes over. He's been going overseas
Right.
for his job. He goes overseas since he was a boy fishing. He goes overseas, but he also oversees our family. We all look to him. Not that he's God or anything, but it's sort of like
Right.
we always go, okay, well, what does Richard say about this? So it's
Right.
kind of like the full stop. Everyone has their opinion, and then everyone turns to Richard and goes, "All right, what's your?" And then we all look at him and go, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." um,
Right.
so he's the overseer. When you look under the chair, there's Neff and a Chem sitting. You'll see the intel come from the sun, which are the children. They're holding three, and then you'll see the other children coming in through the sun. If you count them, all the rays.
Yeah.
So there's three children. Um, uh, Akem is holding Toot, and Neff is holding the first two daughters.
Mhm.
And he has marks, 3 marks on his belly, and she has 3 marks here. 2 marks. She has 2 marks here, and he has 3 on his belly. And if you have a look under his chair, it's a ship. You go to Gosford Glyphs, where the drawing of the sun and Anubis is. They speak of jet. They say it as jet.
Ha.
They say Ned, Ned, same thing. They speak of the 3 and the fishermen, and they talk of flipping of the ship, meaning they call it capsize. Cap.
Oh, there's the cap again.
Size.
Everything's back to
It's
what?
flipping the ship, Mila.
Wow.
Oh, gosh. I have got so many goosebumps. I'm so excited.
It all goes back to the sea with us. This is actually where we really picked up on having our conversations, was when we were talking about the mark I got on my leg when I was in the sea.
Yeah, from the seaman.
Oh, that.
You went under, and no. The seaman is the merman. I know it doesn't sound. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
It's funny.
Seaman is well, semen is the note, the sperm. Yeah, it's number 6 or number 9, which is yin and yang. But semen is merman.
Yeah.
Merman, mermaid. But it's not maid. There's no. The sirens keep going. There's no maid. It's there's no aid in this. It's merman. It's the mer ones. It's the merman is the Bermuda Triangle as well.
Right.
It's the same name. And to be merman is ma sol one. So it's ta sol one. It keeps coming back to the same thing over and over in this culture and that culture, and then I'll listen to it in astrology, and then it lines up with the solar flares, and now it lines up with the name January and February and the Romans. I mean, Romans have really only come about big for me in the last, I don't know, 8 months, 10 months.
Yeah.
It just won't leave me alone. The whole Roman circuit, Dr. Joe brought it through. Stacey, a lot to do with the UK. You brought the circuits through in the mapping around you, Mila. The circuits are they would create a circuit so that it had it's a moat around a castle.
Yeah.
They would do it around the pyramids. It's an energy source. The water carries. It's also protection.
Mhm.
What do you do with honey? You put honey in a bowl of water so the ants can't get to it.
Right.
So it's a form of like a barrier.
Yeah.
And so these circuits, these Roman circuits, they would create great energy with these cities. And now our cities are placed on these Roman circuits all around the world.
Right. You said a word that I'm like, torsal. What's torsal? Relating to a torus. The earliest known use of the word was in the 1860s by mathematician Arthur Cayley. A torsal is a piece of wood, iron, or stone that supports the end of a joist or beam and distributes its weight. Torsal may also be an alternative form of the word torsal, which is to do with fish. So I spelled it wrong.
Yeah, well, it's no. It's not spelt wrong because they only change a few letters, which just creates confusion. But torsal is dorsal. Dorsal is what we call the heart, as Western now. What the pump, which is two gates really, is called dorsal. It wasn't called heart. the heart is the spleen. It's splendid, at which that's why it's thrown our compass off. But
Right.
torso is dorsal, which is it's connected to because that's part of the fish,
Right. Right.
which is dorsal. Like these words, you go, oh, that's coincidental, but it's not. It's a tor dial, it's sundial, it's tor. It's those words are all. The sun dials into your heart, like all heart. This is probably me overstepping my boundary, but I don't care. Most heart conditions stem from the spleen, liver, kidney.
Right.
And so TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, that's where they first go. Our medicines, when they used to study the 4 humours, which is the compass again, that's where they would go.
Right.
They would check our humour, different humours, and then they always check the spleen first, or liver.
Right. It's named liver.
Yeah. Yeah, you check those first, and I learned this from watching death. Watching death, because I realized even when the heart stops, the lungs go for like 15, 20 minutes afterwards.
Yeah.
And that threw me completely, because from all the films and things I had heard, I thought that once the heart stopped, everything stopped.
Right.
But the will doesn't.
And you can still hear for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and they'll say, "Oh, that's all muscle spasm." They'll give it all the excuses they want, but I've seen it more than once now, when they shut down and the eye dims and the heart has stopped, and I can't feel blood going anywhere, but I can see the lungs go in and out, and I stare at it and watch it in peace and in wonder of how is this. It ruins everything I've been taught.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of what we've been taught is faulty.
But we haven't. If you have pets, if you go to hospitals, they take that vision away completely. No one. It would be very rare to see that.
Yeah, you get ushered out of the room quickly.
Yeah, because it's
Oh,
disturbing.
friends and family need to leave now. We got to do our job. And it's like, well, why?
Yeah. So all these weird souls come around this one crossing over.
Yeah.
See how messed up? No wonder there's so many in the grey room or the ghosts and stuff, because
Yeah.
the way you come in here and the way you leave this realm isn't guided.
Yeah.
It's manipulated.
Yeah, like I was just actually exploring this recently. This just came up. It was a download. Was with the why is there such an urgency to cut the umbilical cord? Like the idea of it, I don't know. I was thinking it was, how those downloads happen. You're just like, I'm not sure why I'm thinking about this. This wasn't the way before. People weren't in a rush to quickly hurry and sever. And so I did a little bit of research, and it turns out that a child actually receives nutrients and needed proteins that assist their ability to heal, to maintain their health, and things like this 30 minutes after they leave the womb through the umbilical cord. And so a lot of this like early age illness because that's like the stereotypical child, sniffy nose. The babies all are sick. They've been full of injections, and they've also been severed their needed proteins for healing at that really immediately as soon as they're born.
So because we had home births, we chose to do different things with the placenta and the stem cells, and the cord is like the lungs. It breathes for, like you said, Mila. It probably goes a little bit longer, probably almost under 2 hours. We would
Wow.
see it go up and down. And
Wow.
it's like when you see it, you do think you're alien because it looks alien and it's so strong. It's like it looks like calamari or octopus. The the way it looks. Um, the placenta, when you hold it up, looks like the tree of life, and you hold it up to the light, and it looks like your background. It's so pretty,
Huh.
but everyone goes, "Ooh, it's all ooh," and I don't know, some form of maturity comes over you, and all the ooh. There is no ooh through this. It's so amazing that there's no ooh.
Yeah.
But again, this has been taken away from us because we've, you know, the midwife we had, the first midwife we had in Australia, she was quite famous, and she had done a lot of celebrities and politicians' children's. They give the midwives in Australia a bad name, like witches sort of thing, because they don't want you to have home births. She's got chased out of the country, like has a warrant on her.
Whoa.
Yeah, a midwife. They said because the the mother and the daughter or the baby got rushed to hospital and there was some complication, but the complication was at hospital. It wasn't at the home birth.
Yeah.
They just panicked at home because of, and then, but if you didn't have a hospital to go through and you just had to deal with it then and there, you'd be surprised how much you can get through. But we've
Oh
had
yeah.
it all taken away from us. So, I mean, not when you see the horses and cows in the paddock, they have babies all the time.
Right.
You're meant to have them.
Right. It's a normal thing. I remember
Yeah,
watching a documentary called The Business of Childbirth or The Business of Babies, I think is what it was called, when I was pregnant. I really was against having going to the hospital, but my daughter's dad was the opposite. So
yeah,
I ended up going to a hospital, which was really frustrating. They ended up giving me an epidural when I was in the throes of labor pains and wasn't fully aware. I was so angry. I did not consent. In fact, everything was against it. But anyway, um,
I just want you to know we had our first two in hospital
mhm,
and we didn't consent to things and we wrote forms and signed pieces of paper. They still did it.
yeah,
So even whether you consent or not, they're in such robotic
yep,
doing their job, you know. Um, so I just want to, there's no right or wrong in this. What can happen though from now is that with all these talks, Mila, and these sharing and these groups that you create, people will come together and start supporting, and you're starting to create little ecosystems, little communities everywhere. And so people are starting to go, no, just do this, have a bit of this, and your sniffles will go. Do
right,
this, and you might reduce your blood pressure. Like, do this, do this, do this. And so now you're supporting
yeah,
people. Now you're creating communities through share and tell.
I like
And
that.
that's why it's so important to support Mila and ones like Mila, because she is doing this. She's creating these ecosystems everywhere, around the world. And so now these ecosystems can then grow on. They don't need Mila there all the time because Mila's going to get really.
Right.
Mila, I said to Mila, "How are you going with all your emails?" And she goes, "You have no idea how many." She's
Yeah.
got oodles and oodles of it. And I was like, "Well, I can imagine they would just be sending so many to you because you ring true."
Mm,
And these ecosystems that you're creating, Mila, are supporting. So then they can go off and grow in their own way.
yeah. I
And
love
so
that.
then, yeah, and then they might even come back and help us do stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. I noticed
it's
that
like,
with Nutella. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, sorry.
I noticed that within the Telegram group that there's because what I've done is I've made folders, and so there's like the Australian light team and the UK light team and stuff, and I did that so people can kind of find people near to them as well, and I've watched this really cool phenomenon occur where now people are making their own Zoom meetings and putting it out there saying, okay, we're going to meet at this time, and fitting their time zones. And it's just really cool to see. There's like subgroups inside subgroups inside subgroups, and um, though you brought this topic up, so I would be remiss not to mention it. It's Wednesday, at least in this hemisphere, Thursday in the southern hemisphere, and that means that we do have a group today. Um, it's a free Zoom meeting. You can find the link in the community section of my YouTube channel. I put it on Facebook, and it's in Telegram, and it's free. It starts at 4:30 Central Time, which is a little longer, or a little under 2 hours from now is when we're starting, just if anyone's interested to participate in that. So I wanted to bring that up. You gave me such a good segue.
No. Well, these sub communities are colonies. So now
Yeah.
we're, and so I know,
Dance
I bring it
again.
back. I know. Well, they all asleep, so I can talk about it, and half are fishing, so it's all right. But it's the colonies. So this is where we have stemmed from. This is our DNA, and so
Stem
this is what we're
cells.
doing. So yeah. Stem cells, yeah. So this is where we come from. So this is how we work with it. And the dog prophecy, I keep going on about the dog prophecy, but the dog prophecy, they said, you can Google it, is not just one. It's Nostradamus to hundreds of prophets over many eras in different religions. And they all have their different version of it. But when the dog presents, the dog will come to not only give you insight and protection from what is, but they will also help guide us. And that's what this is about. And that's what, through us acknowledging that January and February are the dog months.
Dude, and so much is happening with dogs, both in your life and my life
Yeah.
lately.
Well, for me, it started just before
November,
Valentine's
right?
Day. Yeah, with the white man's dog. And it passed, and his dog's name was Moo.
Of course
Right.
it was.
It was a white wolf.
Why? That's really significant. As
Yeah.
that
Well,
that's part of the prophecy is, like
yeah.
all the white
Yeah.
animals. They talk about it as the white calf, buffalo calf, but it's all of the animals will begin to show the color of the time. And so we're
Yeah.
seeing white deer, white elk, white bears. Some of them look pink, like the dolphins that are white and the elephants that are white, they actually look pink. So
Wow.
sorry, I just wanted to, so the audience sake, in case they didn't know.
Yeah. Well, this is the way our ancestors, the indigenous, would mark time, is through the animal of that era. So that's how they knew. So with evolution, how animals have shapeshift or dragons, that's how you can understand how the cultures talk about things, is through the way what they've named things. They would do it with animals. That's why a lot of the cultures you see animals, but how do you connect with the future ones? How do you connect with the future ones? Well, you just have to share what's with before you to make it carry to ahead. Does
Yeah.
that make ahead? Carry ahead. Carry ahead. Carry ahead. That's how they made the ants stand up.
By carrying ahead.
Yeah, they had. That's why they brought in the pig and the dog. Is that was what they put on us. That's why pig is not allowed to be eaten in many cultures because it's classed as dirty. But it's really because that's how we got skin and a head. A head, of course. Oh my gosh,
So
I'm gonna have to start having orange juice now.
I'd share some with you.
Because
Yeah,
A
you can
is
be
E.
fan.
I like that. I need more backup here. So a head is to carry a head. To carry a head. This is why we give birth differently to so many animals because they had to shift our hips. This is why we carry our young for 9 months before they walk. Not many other animals. Actually, I don't think any animal does this.
Because the head.
Because the monkey, they love, once you know the monkey isn't us, like if you go proper historian archaeology, it's actually impossible that we're from monkey. So monkey is man key. So once hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, that's a trick on us. So, and it's really for fruit fly. So they brought us from ant. Then they had to create skin or a hide around us.
Right.
And then this is I learnt from farming with Jet because they're so strict on how they run piggeries, and the pigs are not allowed to see daylight because their skin looks too much like humans.
Yeah.
And if we are eating pig and it looks like a human, it might make us remember. See how they're so clever hiding everything from us? Hide. They're hiding in us. They're hiding in us to get ahead. They're creating us. They've fed us the most they can feed us so that they can mine us.
Right.
So the more we all realize all this in the next few years, it's just going to naturally turn into a happier place. It just can't not.
I got to mention this. This is a study that I just found, is they had done and these results are, there was a big push to hide them from the public, but it was 73 big chain hot dog companies that were producing hot dogs that were pork. And they were just doing, testing on them and stuff. They found the results of this found that 2% was human DNA or considered human flesh. And
Yeah.
so it's like, is it
And
humans they're putting in there, or is that what's from the pig itself?
well, the other thing is we met the Rainbow Man here when we first shifted up here, and the Rainbow Man, he had a pig heart.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And he was the guy who Pirates of the Caribbean hired because he could call in lightning storms and stuff. So they got him when they were shooting it here in Australia, and they got this guy here on the edge of the beach, and it's filmed. It's in the movie. He brought through the storm for the movie. He would bring in rainbows before us while he was with us. And he had a pig heart, and a lot of military would always follow around him, black helicopters everywhere around him. And Richard met him they were helping someone out of the ocean. They were getting crushed on the rocks. That's how he met this gentleman. And we called him the Rainbow Man. And he had a pig heart. And I always went, hang on a second, wouldn't your body reject that? And when you see a pig's autonomy to a human's, it's like, I think they said it's 98 or 99% the same.
I've seen this example too.
So, yeah. So pig, dog, porpoise is sea pig. Purpose is, yeah. So this is where piglet comes from. Is porpoise is from dolphin. That's why we feel so much from dolphin.
Right.
Which is dolphin is dorsal. Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
sorry.
sorry, Mel.
I was gonna go a little bit dark for a second. Go ahead.
No, go dark. It's a dark moon.
Yeah, going farther into this pig thing, um, is that I remember this from the days that uh, uh, X-Files was a new every week thing. You know, this was like back, I don't know, the 90s. They and I later on explored it, researching it because I was curious if it was true. Turns out, um, if you consume human flesh, it creates a level of insanity that, though temporary, it can have lasting effects of up to a year. The type of insanity that occurs is um, foggy brain, unable to um, be aware, uh, partially docile, where you're kind of more of a slave, able to be enslaved, um, all of these things. And it's temporary, though it does have very profound effects when you consume as a human flesh. And so to me, it's written in, you see this in the Bible. Like you said, I remember dating people who were very much not or anti-pork. They just wouldn't eat. That's the it of all the things, because we'll go through periods where we'll eat meat around here, but pork isn't one of them. There's something about pork for us, and it's become more of a logical solution or answer. But before that, something happened. That's where I began to down my road of veganism. My body began to reject it. Like I would eat this food, this meat, and I would become ill immediately. My body would purge it as quickly as possible. And eventually I just stopped eating all meat altogether um, for a long time. Why am I saying all this? Is that um, I can see that this would be a really good way of getting people to do what you want.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, this is why you see the mythology with all the different heads, that the Sphinx is the dog head.
right?
It's what it is. It's the head. It's to now I understand. It's to get ahead.
Yeah.
This is how they. So whether they've done this before on many other planets, I don't know. That they're having a go with AI, but it's okay because the way we're creating this won't be able to keep going this way. It just won't. It can't. The solar flares will not support it. I see what the solar flares are doing to my computer and Bluetooth
Yeah.
and magnetics in the car and the washing machine in us, and it won't support that. If it's not for the highest good, it will fail. And the more and more I see all these examples that you and all your audience talk about and others talk about, it really is happening this way.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need to, don't fixate on the worry and stuff. Just work on what is happening for you that day. Maybe you should stop eating pork, or maybe you should eat more of this, or just work on you that day. Make you great, so that you can be great for others, rather than force yourself. And
Yeah.
this seems to work. This seems to work, Mila.
Right.
I know
And
you know. I know you know this. I know you know.
whatever works for you. And it starts with learning how to listen to our bodies. I love the comments that we're getting from Dr.
What's what? If you want to get ahead, get a hat.
Earlier, he was saying something about us being barking mad. um, is that we have been taught to not listen to our bodies, and over time, the body kind of becomes this neglected child in a lot of ways, because once you do try to listen to it, it doesn't want to talk to you anymore. It doesn't trust you. Like I did to my body, where it would it was asking me not to eat foods, and what I would do instead was I would take antacids, and I would take medications that would make the side effects go away that my body's showing me it's trying to reject something. You know, essentially, though I didn't literally do this, basically what I was doing is if my body asked for water, I then eating a powdered donut. You know what I mean? That's how I treated it. So when I started to listen to my body, I didn't start listening till I was pregnant, really, you know, not in the way that I do
Well,
now.
well, it's not only you listening, someone else in there is listening and they're going, nice try, Mila. I'm not eating that. Blah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's like, "What
Yeah,
are you
that's real
doing?"
funny. What are you doing? Why are we eating that?
Yeah, yeah. And that was
Wow.
when I really started to eat much more healthy. I wanted to eat healthier.
Mm, yeah. Well, because you have your sense. This is why when you get pregnant, you have more senses because you have an entity in you, a
Yeah,
star seed. So you've got your senses, and now their senses are growing and growing stronger every day. And so they're going, I don't think so.
yeah,
Put the chocolate bar down. Go eat a whole heap of salt or something crazy, because that's what their calling was, because they need, see, as a newborn entity in you, they don't have the goop yet.
right,
So they don't care of the story of Elsa or Mila not eating her Brussels sprouts.
right,
You're going to eat Brussels sprouts now.
right.
Yeah, because they want it and they're growing in you, and they're going, don't listen to that one, and they override the mum.
Yeah,
So, like you said, Mila, your mind overrides your body, and then now you have to come back and listen to the body, but your body doesn't trust you, so you have to build a relationship with yourself again.
yeah. The
So
teacher can talk to you and you'll hear it.
yeah, that's why this whole disclosure thing and this whole awakening thing, you're not going to get it in one session from a healer or
Yeah,
and then go, I'm still not happy with that. And it's like, no, you have to do it.
yeah,
It's your version of it, not mine or Mila's or my kids or anyone else's version. It's your version of it. We're just here to show you and assist you that while you're going through it, we're supporting and sounding boards. But a lot of people go into that blame of, well, you didn't help me. And it's like, that's a cute part of it.
right,
Come back to me next week after you've sat with that one for a while. Yeah.
right,
Because I used to be the one that would blame people for things that you can't. It's not their fault.
right,
It's not your fault. It's no one's fault. It's just you have to embody it.
right. And you have to do something about it. Like this
Mm.
is a newer phenomenon I'm noticing more. It's really amazing and beautiful to see how many people are waking up right now. I mean, like the floodgates have opened. There are a large group of individuals who are so new that they'll let themselves become overwhelmed that they don't do anything. It's like, well, can't you just do it for me? Just can you like, and even if you spent like an hour explaining a million things to them, they want you to look it up for them, and it's like, well, just go online and type in the thing I
Yeah.
told you. Like there's
Yeah.
there's there's steps that everyone needs to take. And this isn't because we don't have loving compassion for you. It's that you have to actively be participating in your awakening,
Yeah.
and you can't do it for them. And if we could, that would the awakening would be over a long time ago. We'd be done.
Yeah. Well, people like Mila and myself, because we've been going through a lot for so long, we would have liked to do it because we would like to go, okay, I'll unpack it and I'll put it in the cupboard. Are you happy now? But
Right.
even that doesn't work. It just doesn't. I couldn't do it for my kids. I
Yeah.
still can't do it for my kids. I can't do it for my husband. Can't do it for my neighbor. I can't even do it for my pets.
Yeah.
It's their journey, but you are there. You're just there as a sounding board, as a reflection for them. And through the reflections, you'll learn things as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Happy January. Truly January. Oh my gosh.
That was pretty funny.
Wow.
That was a fun clip. Maybe we should share
Oh
that
my
on.
gosh, it's like already 2 hours. I still
I
wanted to
know.
play.
We gotta get
I,
going.
I know. I can hear the, now you have to get off. It's like, oh, oh,
Yeah,
thank you, Mila.
I have a meeting in an hour and a half, a free Zoom meeting, and otherwise we talk a little bit longer probably, but I gotta walk around. I can't stay sitting for way too long, or like I'm that person. I don't have like anxious energy, I just have energy.
Yeah,
And I need to move.
yeah.
But
Oh, thank you
man, we
so
could keep
much.
talking though. We brought so much up. Um, like before we just to end that last conversation, I did want to highlight what Turtle says here, because I really agree with this. I noticed this happening too, where your body stops wanting to eat meals. Like it's okay. It doesn't, like, I remember being taught this. It's like that's, you would get sick. Animals get sick and they don't eat, and it's no one messes with them. But if I would get sick, I would, and I didn't feel like eating, then everybody, oh, you got to eat, keep your strength up, you got to eat, and they're like trying to force feed you food and everything, and it's like I don't want to, I don't feel like it, so I would force myself to, including things like breakfast, and I learned over time that breakfast is actually not very natural, at least for my body. There are other people who also have the same experience that I do, but some other people really do. What I'm saying here is it's okay if you fall under this other body type. I eat I in a way that's called intermittent fasting. I didn't even know there was a word for it when I first started to do it. It means I just eat when I'm ready. And usually I'm not ready to eat till dinner.
Yeah.
And I get enough calories, I promise. I got proof. It's just that I don't feel like eating. I used to eat breakfast because it was the healthiest meal of the day, and I would be ill. I would feel ill until about 1 p.m. And then you'd have to eat lunch.
Look, can I
So
can I just talk about this for a second?
please.
Breakfast is not breakfast for us. It's breakfast for them. Now look at the word. These words are not created for us. They're created for another agenda, and those agendas are very intelligent. And they, between 1 and 3, the spleen and the liver create the most glucose. This is the most active time for parasites and viruses. Yeah. So how do they love sugar. Love sugar. Pleasants. Peasants. Please. This is where the word please comes from. Plead. Peas, ants. Peas, ants. Peas is all the fields and crop food, right? How they
Yeah.
all turn into sugar.
Right.
So, what do we have for breakfast? We have sugary cereals. Who are we feeding? Once you start to do the parasite cleanses and you remove them slowly in a understanding way, and you do your research, ease and grace, right? You'll start to realize your whole taste buds will change. And
Right.
food will change, and you won't need that food anymore, or you won't eat at that time of day anymore. You'll actually save money.
Yeah.
Big money, because, and you're eating foods that actually support you.
Mm-hmm.
And as you go through the process, you can't do it all at once. Just do it gradually, step by step. So you have lunch, dim her, which is Eve, dinner, right?
Right.
Dim her, dessert, desert, Mars, task. It's been done before.
Right.
The problem with their way is it has an end game.
Right.
And they don't want to have an end game. So they've been looking through many ways to create it in their host so that they don't have an end game, but it always comes back to the dessert.
Right. And what
They're
is dessert?
so fixated on sugar.
Oh, yeah.
And it's their energy source. So they love the numbers and they love the sugar. Numbers and sugar, numbers and sugar. And what happens is they lose their senses in it.
Right.
And so I get off the Zoom with Mila, the session, right? And our fridge broke, and Richard's shifting everything outside around. It's our outside fridge. And he shifts it and he squishes a huge huntsman spider accidentally.
Whoa.
He goes, "Else, you have to come out here." And I went, "What?" I said, "Is this about the curse is broken?" He says, "Look at this." And the huntsman spider, he squished it and her insides came out, or what he thought was his insides. And he looked down on the ground and it looked like the Gordian knot. And it was a knot and it was one huge worm still
Whoa.
going. It had engulfed the whole spider.
Whoa.
Huntsman spider. It was probably as big as a marble, and I've got a video of it, and we've tried to pull it apart. We made sure it didn't touch us because we didn't
Good.
want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was alarming how big it was in this spider. So it was literally controlling the spider, and people go, "Well, how can parasites and viruses control the hosts?" But you hear everyone talk about narcissists.
Right.
That's them. How do you get rid of a narcissist? Start feeding them herbs.
Right. Right. I
This
mean,
poor spider didn't
Stargate
make it, Miller.
SG-1 talks about this. Yeah.
Hey?
Stargate SG-1. There's a series called Stargate SG-1. It was this huge thing. There was such a following that it was shocking that right in the they had several seasons. I think they had like 5 or 7 seasons, something like that. And even though they had such a following, they pulled the contract. They were talking about this. The ETs, the bad ETs, the ones that were coming to like cause some type of difficulty, were parasitical worms that would take over the host and become the consciousness therein. And there was this whole it's a whole thing. Like, and they were talking about a lot of these things that we actually are learning are real, are actually truly happening. And it was being done on, but it was CBS,
Yeah.
so and they're
Well,
like, oh, we can't talk about that. You guys are out of here. Like the
yeah.
fact that it was their contract was cut was a financial, it made no sense that they would do that money wise.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they don't want to, they don't want to give you any clues. And that's one of the clues is how they hide it so much that is one of the clues. So see how it's respinning on itself. But
Yeah.
the way I learned about parasite and virus was way, way, way back in when Ginger was born. So we're going 17 years ago. And it was an indigenous culture, and they had a cave drawing, and it was they talked of the great reign of the white flies. And in the picture, you see them all with their like sticks or their spears, trying to whack them. And then there was some great explosion, and then all the trees in that area got petrified.
Wow.
And the black swans of this area where we used to live in Sydney would sit on the petrified trees in the water. I thought they were rocks.
Yeah.
But if you go and research, it's petrified trees. It's a petrified forest under the water.
Wow.
That's how I learned about parasites and viruses way back then from an indigenous
Yeah.
drawing.
Wow, that's really cool.
But I didn't. Yeah, and then I just kept seeing these connections, and I went, holy cow, this is really connected.
Yeah.
It's a big topic to leave on, I know, but look, it's food for thought, and don't believe us. Go and do your own
Yes.
research, and don't get too consumed by it. Go and spend time out in the sun, and
Yeah.
go to one of go to a few of Mila's chat groups, because then you can voice and
Yeah.
share.
And you don't have to have your camera on. You don't even have to have your audio on. Some people just type. I do. I encourage you, if you have the time and the desire, we are going to be starting in an hour and 12 minutes. Yes. Wait. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, I have to go to the bathroom. I have to pee really bad. So I'm like, my ability to do mind stuff is diminishing. So, but thank you so much, Elsa, for this wonderful conversation. I always look forward to our talks. I um, have so much more to talk about.
I feel like we're getting ahead. We're getting ahead. We're getting ahead.
Yeah. For any of you out there who are having Ascension symptoms right now, we are getting a solar storm today. You are able to see northern lights in a lot of the northern states and even mid states through the US, of course, Canada and Alaska. And also the UK and some other countries were included in like the brief list of that. So, I mean, not brief, but the extensive list of that. So look it up, check out, if it's nighttime, go see, look to the north in most places. And maybe if you're in the UK, look to the southwest, I think, and to see these beautiful colors in the sky that are coming down as a result of this powerful CME that we're getting. So thank you very, very much. I love you. And we will talk again soon. Aho blessings.